I like some music um, with the uh, strong like remix of Vina House because it's like makes my head out after the hard working day. Moreover, when I say the favorite song with my friend or stranger, I feel that's the time I can sense my heartbeat. So it's make my relationships more strengthened.
Let's look at your previous answer. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 5.5. Regarding fluency and coherence, you were able to express your ideas, but the flow was occasionally interrupted by pauses and repetitions. On vocabulary, you used a good phrase like hard-working day, but Vina House Remix is quite specific. Try using broader terms like upbeat or energetic. There were a few grammar mistakes. You said musics, which should be music, and makes my head out, which isn't standard phrasing. A more natural way to say this would be, I enjoy listening to Vina House remixes because the energetic beats help me unwind after a stressful day. For a higher band sample answer, you could say, I have quite an eclectic taste, but I'm particularly drawn to upbeat electronic music to boost my energy, especially after a long day at work or during workouts. Let's move to the next random question from the list. Do you want to travel in outer space?
Of course, because I think that another space is something like have the secrets and maybe engage me about the freedom and about the something like luxuries experience.
Let's take a look at your response regarding space travel. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 5.0. Your fluency and coherence could be improved. The flow of ideas was somewhat disjointed, making it difficult to follow your line of thought. Regarding vocabulary, you mentioned a luxury experience, which is interesting, but the rest of the vocabulary was quite vague. There were several grammar mistakes such as another's way, which should be another way, and phrases like have the secrets which lack clear meaning. A corrected, more natural version would be, I think space travel is a completely different experience that offers a sense of ultimate freedom and a unique, luxurious adventure. For a higher band sample answer, you could say, while it comes with its challenges, the idea of traveling into space is captivating to me because it would allow me to see our planet from a whole new perspective and experience an unparalleled level of exploration. Let's move on to the next random question. Do you want to go into outer space in the future?
Why it comes with its challenges. The idea of traveling into space is captivating to me because it could allow me to see our planet from a whole new perspective and experience an parallel level of exploration.
Ah, I see you caught on to that phrasing. It is wonderful that you are engaging with the language like that. Let's look at your response. Since this was a quick follow-up to clarify that thought, I'll evaluate the language you used here. For this specific response, the estimated band score is around 6.5. Your delivery was much smoother this time. You connected the ideas logically using because, which made your reason for wanting to visit space very clear and direct. You used some excellent high-level vocabulary here, such as captivating and allow me to see our planet. This is
Okay,
exactly
next
the kind of
question.
language that lifts your score in a real interview. There were a few grammar mistakes. What you said, why is come with its challenges? The correction is, why does it come with its challenges? Remember to use the auxiliary verb does for questions in the present simple tense. A more natural version would be, it definitely comes with its challenges, but the idea of traveling into space is captivating to me because it would allow me to see our planet from a completely different perspective. Let's return to the interview and try another random topic from your list. Let's talk about teachers. Did you have a favorite teacher at school?
No, not at all, because I think that all of my teachers in my school are nice and very good. So I can speak I can choose someone to be the favorite teacher. It's a rules. I think it's a rules.
Thanks for that thoughtful response. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 6.0. Your fluency and coherence were quite good. You expressed your ideas clearly and explained your reasoning logically. On vocabulary, using words like nice and very good is acceptable, but it could be enhanced with more descriptive terms like supportive or inspiring. Regarding grammar, your sentences were generally accurate, though I didn't catch a clear connection for the phrase, "it's a rose." A more natural way to express your thought would be, "All of my teachers were excellent, so I can't really single one out as a favorite." For a higher band sample answer, you could say, "I was quite fortunate to have a supportive group of educators, each leaving a positive impression on me through their dedication and approachable nature." Let's move on to the next random question from the list. Do you spend too much time on social media?
Yes, I spend about 5 to 6 hours to spend social media per day. No, because I'm just to the informations in the TikTok. I just use TikTok, but it takes a lot of my time in the daily basis. I think I have some mental health because I just like to watch some short video, and it makes me feel like I have brain rot.
That is quite a significant amount of time to spend on social media each day. For your answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 6.0. Regarding fluency and coherence, you were able to convey your main points clearly and explain your feelings about how it affects you. On vocabulary, you used an excellent modern term, brain rot, which accurately describes the current experience of continuous scrolling. There were a few grammar and syntax issues. You said "I spray about," which should be "I spend about," and the phrase "I'm just to the information in the TikTok," which could be phrased as "I'm just hooked on the information on TikTok." A more natural way to say this would be, "Yes, I spend about 5 to 6 hours on social media every day. I don't feel addicted, but it definitely takes up a significant portion of my time." Let's move to the next random question from the list. What kind of job do you want to do in the future?
I want to be a chef. As you know, I'm studying English language major. It's not related to my dream job, but of course, dream job is something I want to do. But I think that I not have a chance to give it a try. I think that I will be a teacher like my mom and my dad in the future.
That's a very honest and thoughtful answer about your aspirations. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 6.0. Your fluency and coherence were quite good. You expressed yourself clearly and explained your conflict regarding your major and your dream job. On vocabulary, using phrases like dream job and give it a try is natural, and mentioning your parents' profession adds relevant detail. There were a few grammar areas to note. You said studying an English language major, which should be majoring in English, and I not have a chance, which should be I don't think I will have a chance. A more natural way to express this would be, currently I'm majoring in English, which isn't related to my dream job, but of course becoming a chef is something I really want to do. I feel I won't have the opportunity to pursue it though, and I'll likely end up teaching like my parents. For a higher band sample answer, you could say, while I am currently pursuing a degree in English, my true passion lies in the culinary arts. However, considering the practicalities, I suspect I will follow in my parents' footsteps and enter the teaching profession. Let's move on to the next topic. Do you like science fiction movies set in space?
Yes, I like some science fiction movie because I think it's a interesting theme of the movies. And when I watch some movie like this, I feel unwind. And when I come to cinema with my friends or family to see it, It strengthens my relationship.
That's a great reason to enjoy movies with loved ones. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 6.0. Your fluency and coherence were quite good. You expressed your ideas clearly and explained how watching these films strengthens your relationships. On vocabulary, using phrases like interesting theme of the movies and strengthens my relationship is effective. There were a few grammar and phrasing notes. You said interesting fame, which should be interesting theme, and the first part had some minor repetition. A more natural way to express your thought would be, yes, I really enjoy science fiction movies set in space because the themes are so interesting. Also, going to the cinema with friends or family to watch them is a great way to strengthen our connections. For a higher band sample answer, you could say, I am a fan of sci-fi films set in space due to the imaginative narratives and creative special effects. Furthermore, I find that sharing these cinematic experiences with family or friends enhances my social bonds and creates lasting memories. Let's continue with the next random question from your list. Have you ever learnt anything about space at school?
Yes, I think that's when I listened. When I was in the university, when I read some book, it seemed like some related to the space, but it's not some study or some like academic studies. It's just like some fact or some magazines about some space.
That is an interesting way to learn about it, through casual reading. For this answer, I would estimate an IELTS band score of around 5.5. Your fluency and coherence were reasonable, though there were some pauses and hesitations as you organized your thoughts. On vocabulary, you mentioned facts and magazines which are appropriate for the context. There were a few grammar areas such as when I listens, which should be when I listened, and some related to the space, which should be something related to space. A more natural way to express this would be, yes, I learned about space while I was at university, primarily through casual reading of books and science magazines. Let's continue with the next random question from your list. Do you like to know more about space?